In a world where magic weaves through the fabric of reality, there exists a cursed sword known as the Curse of the Crimson Blade. It was said that whoever wielded this blade would be granted unmatched strength and power, but at a terrible cost. For the sword feeds not only on the wielder's physical strength, but also on their very soul, slowly corrupting them until there is nothing left but a hollow shell. Despite this grim legend, when a band of ruthless warlords led by the tyrannical Lord Barracus began their campaign to subjugate the northern territories, the people had little choice but to accept the risk. Their last hope was a young warrior named Kaito, a hot-headed but valiant fighter known for his reckless abandon in battle. Though many tried to convince him otherwise, he was the only one who had the strength and courage to take on the invaders. With the fate of his people resting on his shoulders, Kaito drew the Crimson Blade from its resting place in the ancient temple. As the blade left its sheath, a sinister red glow enveloped the surroundings, and the very air grew heavy with malevolent energy. Despite the ominous omens, Kaito knew there was no turning back. He had made a vow to protect his homeland, and by the gods, he would keep it. He charged into the fray, and with each swing of the Crimson Blade, he mowed down the enemy ranks like a man possessed. The sword seemed to drink in the sight of blood, growing ever more powerful with each foe it felled. Yet with every kill, Kaito felt a part of himself being consumed by the very blade he wielded. Its dark energy seeped into his veins, whispering insidious thoughts that preyed on his fears and doubts. Still, he fought on, pushing himself beyond his limits as he led the defense against the invading warlords. But as the battles raged on and the casualties mounted, Kaito found himself becoming more and more detached from the world around him. The normally vibrant colors of the land seemed to dull, and the cheers of the people became a distant roar. All he could see was the enemy before him and the Crimson Blade in his hand, which pulsed with an energy that both terrified and enthralled him. His allies, sensing the change in him, grew troubled. His childhood friend and fellow warrior, a wise and level-headed woman named Alana, watched with growing concern as Kaito became increasingly lost to the sword's influence. She knew that something had to be done before the blade consumed him entirely. But what? Meanwhile, Lord Barracus, clad in his ornate armor and wielding a wickedly curved scimitar, surveyed the battlefield from atop a nearby hill. As he watched Kaito fight, a cruel smile spread across his face. With each passing moment, the warlord saw the power of the Crimson Blade waning, and he knew that soon enough, Kaito would be nothing more than a puppet for him to control. But what Lord Barracus did not know was that Kaito, despite being physically and emotionally drained, was growing stronger with each passing moment. For in his darkest hour, Kaito realized the error of his ways. He had allowed the Crimson Blade to consume him, to make him a tool of destruction. But now he had a choice to make. Would he let the sword win, or would he find a way to overcome it? And so it was that as the final battle raged and the very fate of the land hung in the balance, Kaito made a decision. He would not be a pawn in the game of wills between himself and the cursed sword. He would learn to control the blade, to wield its power without giving in to its darkness. And so he began to fight, not as a mindless killing machine, but as a true warrior, using the Crimson Blade not just as a weapon, but as an extension of his will. The outcome of the battle, however, remained uncertain, for the cost of wielding such power was great, and the full extent of the curse of the Crimson Blade had yet to be revealed. What do you think happens next? Let me know in the comments below. Will Kaito be able to defeat Lord Barracus and break the curse of the Crimson Blade? Or will he succumb to its power and become its master instead? Only time will tell.